Welcome, everybody, to today's call. I am so excited about all the different voices that we're going to hear. It is such an exciting time to be an entrepreneur. Oh my goodness, drop an 8 in the comments if you're feeling that. And we have a whole showcase of people who are going to be sharing today. But to kick us off, please, anybody who feels called to share, come off mute and tell us takeaways from last night's Leslie Zan call.
I just have a quick one. I mean, it's just super inspiring to see what's possible and just makes me really want to make sure I'm re-ranking back to that diamond again. So that was an awesome call.
Yeah, that's short but potent. Always getting back to that re-rank so we can move up and see what's possible and hearing those stories of, it's never about the money itself, but what that can unlock for us in our own lives. Good one. All right, we have some eights coming through here, people who made your list. So that was her assignment. Leslie's assignment at the end was make a list of 10 people that you want to share this income disclosure statement with, or your own translation of that. So if you haven't made that list, go ahead and drop a 9 if you're committed to doing that. And you can even do it in the work portion of this call. Any other takeaways that people want to share?
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited for this call today. I love it when you all come together. Yeah, so many takeaways. One of the calls to action that I just kind of made up myself was to interview as many people as possible over the next couple weeks. I could do a daily interview of just sharing our story quickly, those 4 points. So if anybody wants to share their business story with me on my Instagram, I would love that. And today, after this call, I'll be going over and helping to support my new brand partner to craft her story. So another call to action. And I'm working on my list. I'm very selective these days of who I want to work with. So I have to kind of figure out the balance there, but I have a few people on my list so far. So thanks for making this time and space for us today.
Awesome. Thanks, Camille. Good one. Yeah, it's all about taking it into action. Anything that we get from these Zooms, if we're not putting it into action, pretty soon after the Zoom, it doesn't really mean anything. It's just, a feeling, right? But we want to turn it into momentum by putting it into action. So that's a great share, Camille. Who else would love to share a takeaway from last night?
I can pop on and do a quick takeaway.
Awesome.
I love the question when we're on calls and hosting three-way calls. What does a successful period business, what solutions does that create for you in your life? So learning people's why, is it time freedom? Is it to spend time with their families? Is it to have more time to do their passions? Like one of the women is using her period income to create a book or publish her own book. So again, just asking questions to learn more about people's whys. I always think that's a good takeaway.
I love that, Rita. And just to piggyback on top of that, because this is something you're so good at, is not only having people articulate and envision their why, but then asking them, how would that feel to have that? Like, how would, and get into their body, and like, where do you even notice it in your body? How would that feel? And that is literally the key to success right there. Like, if we can actually feel the felt sensation of having achieved the future that we want, that's how we merge it. So I love that, Rita. Good one. Okay, beautiful. Well, with that, I think we're going to move into our content today. And like I said, we're going to be hearing from different voices and we're going to jump into action. And this is for those of you who are coming on newer. We typically come together as a Crown Collective mid-month. Some of us are using the same time to do these action and accountability calls each Wednesday. And we today are going to be revealing what's coming up for the next few months. So we're going to be sharing a little bit about that. But before we jump into that, I want to actually turn it over to Rita, because another big part of the Leslie Zann call last night was packaging our stories. And I kind of think of having your story packaged as like your real business card. You know, they say like, don't go anywhere without your business card. That's kind of old school, but you know, that was like an old school thing. Like make sure you have, you know, but for me, especially in this industry, I feel like don't go anywhere without having your story packaged. And think of it as like a little card that you have in your pocket that you can just whip out at the time in the conversation that where it just presents itself, that perfect opportunity to say, oh, actually, I have a little story about that, right? And when you have it concise, when you've hit the key points and you've left out all the fluff, and you have it so practiced that it just rolls off your tongue, it's so natural to share about Purium. You don't feel like a salesperson. You don't feel like you're pushy. You don't feel like you're doing anything to anyone. You're presenting, you're offering, you're pouring a cup of tea. You know, here's my experience, you know. And if that resonates for you, come learn more. So having our package story is like super gold. And Rita is going, I'm going to turn it over to you, Rita, to say more about that. But just want to really edify you, Rita, as a leader. This is somebody who does the thing of investing in yourself more than your job so that you become so valuable that you perform your job even better. And Rita is constantly pouring back into her own cup, reinvesting in her own personal growth, and then sharing it so beautifully and effectively with your team. And you are extraordinary leader. And I always say you're like so soothing on my nervous system, which is so important in a business that's charged, right? We're working with big energy. And Rita really helps us all just like ground it out so we can like hold it and show up and take that next step. So I love you. Thank you for being here and leading
Oh,
this activity.
I love you too, Christina. Thank you. So sweet. And I love these calls and coming together. And we thought it would be really fun. And also, Christina, just want to thank you for your leadership and hosting these containers and hosting space for us to dream, because you're always bringing us back into our why. So thank you. And we thought it'd be really fun to just practice our stories. And we're going to break out in breakout rooms in a few minutes, but I'm going to put in the chat what our stories are composed of. So it's 4 points, as Camille was saying. And so the first question is, what do you do and how long have you been doing it? So prior to starting your Purium business, or if you're still working another job, what do you do and for how long? And what do you love about it? You know, do you love working with the people that you work with? Do you love the mission? You know, what is it? And then what don't you like about the work that you do? Is the commute challenging? Is being away from your family challenging? Do you not feel valued? You know, figure out a few points, you know, so 3 points what you love, 3 points that you don't love. And then how does a successful Purium business create a solution for you in your life? So what's your deeper why? Does it create, are you doing it to create that deeper time freedom, that financial freedom, the community, deeper alignment with your purpose? And so just getting clear for yourself. And we're going to break out with about 3 people in each room. And we're going to practice sharing our own story. And then we're going to each kind of mirror back and reflect what we heard from that person. So we'll each have an opportunity to not only share our story, but also mirror each other's stories, because we want to practice effective listening and that mirroring. So that's what we're going to be doing. This is just a great time to connect in with each other, learn a little bit more about each other. And as Leslie was saying, like the biggest resource we have is our own story and each other's stories. So how many stories can we get in our toolbox, in our tool bag to have to share with others, that it could really potentially profoundly impact? So that's going to be our activity. And Christina, I'll let you break us out into about 6 rooms, 3 each.
How many minutes will each person have to share so they can time themselves?
Great. So let's just try and do a 1 minute, 1 to 2 minute story, and then reflecting for each other for 1 to 2 minutes. So
So
we'll do
about,
about
what
10
is it,
minutes.
about 10 to 12 minutes? Okay,
Mhm.
perfect. All right, here we go. So you're going to join your room, and then don't worry about leaving your room. Like you'll get like 60 seconds left, but just stay in your room and let people finish or meet each other if you're done, and it'll all whisk you back at the end. So click to join. You don't need to do anything to return. Here we go. And also stay on. You might be like, oh my gosh, I have to talk and meet people and share. Like, yes, say yes to that. That's how you make it where you want to go. Here we go. Click to join.
Easy. My whole um, job description is go up there and enjoy it and do what needs to be done. So that's been really easy. Uh, and as far as construction management, just been doing a little bit where I'm helping my friend sell a project that we worked on last couple of years, which is a hotel. And so that's kind of on hold, and that's okay for me. Um, my my interest in Purium was to help me move to my next step, which is a whole nother business, and to be more confident in what I'm doing, better communication, better organization, keeping my focus. And I'm finding that by doing Purium business, this is all helping me, especially Zoom calls like this. So, and I see the potential of making up the gap between what I get from the ranch and what I get from Social Security and what the rest of my desires and expenses are. So I look forward to making a fairly good income off of Purium, but mainly learning more how to be focused and to be assertive and be a better communicator. I think you're muted. No, I don't hear you. Nope. Let me see if it's me. I don't think it's me. Yeah, I was hearing you before, but perhaps your earbuds are messing it up. No, I can't hear you yet. There's three of us. No, anybody else want to talk? You can hear me, right? Okay. Yeah, let's see, my volume's up. Not hooked into anything else.
Yeah, I can't hear her either,
Oh,
but
there.
I can tell she's not muted. So it is something on your end, Kim. If there's anything you can shift. No.
Yeah, I heard her before she put her on her earbuds.
You want to take out the earbuds, maybe? Oh. Well, I guess what you could do, Kim, and you could type it out, type out the components just to keep the momentum going and do the exercise. And then Bob could reflect back verbally.
Sounds good.
What I would really like to do is, oh no, it's now you take the mic from me. What do you do? What did you do? What were you doing? And how long?
I was a health coach, a functional health coach for 3 years prior to this business, and very, very sick. And so I was trying to build a private practice as a health coach, but my health was suffering. And I was just spinning my wheels. And I didn't have any income to show for all the energy I was putting out, trying to get clients, health coaching.
Hmm.
But what I loved about it is I loved educating people. I loved helping people. What I didn't like about it was the toll it was taking, on my health, being an entrepreneur,
Right.
by myself, for myself, and just the toll it was taking on my health. And when I was introduced to this economy, the first thing for me was my health. My health changed, using these products. I was really sick and disabled for the last 26 years, and I'm no longer sick and disabled. So that was huge. And then, organically, I was starting to help other people with what helped me, and starting to make an income that has well surpassed what I've ever made health coaching. I still health coach people.
Right.
And I have focused in a lot on mold and Lyme, which was my illness. But I'm doing so much better. And I'm impacting people that I could never have met, never have impacted, prior to this. And my heart and my bigger vision, I think right now that's really driving me, is I want to get this into the hands of practitioners. And I'm starting to be able to do that, because I just know it can help so many more people than I can help one-on-one. But and for me, it's been amazing because it's paid for mold remediation. It's given us the opportunity to go away on little vacations and not worry about where is the money coming from, because we never had the money to go away on vacation before. So my vision needs to expand even bigger than that. I think right now my vision is to help my team, reach their goals, because it's hard for me to have a goal that's around money, or time freedom, yes, the freedom to serve people. I guess the freedom to serve people
Yes.
in a way that would really help them and give me purpose. But to be able to do it in a way that I can balance continuing to heal, because I still have some more healing to do on my journey.
Okay. That's beautiful. Well, thank you. I mean, I hear you saying that you have a journey that still puts you more deeper into your practice as well.
Yeah, yeah. Christina, any suggestions? In the next 60 seconds.
I
Okay.
would simply add,
Vision.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I would add, and this I just is like my favorite part of the storytelling, they're all important components, and I love to just paint that picture of where you're headed in your life, what you're creating, really painting that picture for people and how you feel about it. Letting people know, like, oh, the relief I now feel seeing that I'm getting this much closer to living this kind of life that I've really been holding dear, or I'm now seeing for the first time that I'm going to be able to, or I have so much hope renewed that I can really create this. I had let go of this dream, and now, so
Oh, I guess everybody's coming
This
back.
meeting is
And
being
we were the
recorded.
first. Got it.
Okay.
we are back. It's always too short, which means we get to keep practice, practice, practice to concise it and make it that super pack that punch. And then when we're talking to people, then we can move right back over to being interested in them and having them talking about themselves and ideally extracting their story, right? All of these components are great questions. But let me turn it back to you, Rita. This is your activity.
No, that was great. Thank you, Christina. That was fun. We got almost all the way through, and it was actually nice to repackage my own story because it's changed so much. And I'd love to hear if anybody wants to share either a takeaway from a story that you heard, or if you want to share your own package story to the group. Would love to hear a couple of voices. And just how that process was for you, if you learned something, if you were able to get your story more concise, or if you had even new epiphanies for yourself.
I'll try it.
Yeah, great.
I did learn a lot. I thought, oh, this is no big deal, but it actually does take some practice. That was my takeaway. It's like, oh, I do need to practice this because I've been a real estate agent for 9.5 years actually, and it can be extremely stressful, and the time is never my own. And it has gotten to a point with since COVID too, where it's not aligning with my values. And I really am grateful that Purium entered my world as a business, because I'm working to let this take over that income because of the time, ability, and also aligning with my values. I care so much about people's health, and I am well aware of how detrimental the toxins and the lack of nutrients in our food system is to everyone. So I want to be part of that solution.
Yay, beautiful. I love that.
Thanks.
Thanks, Laura. That was nice to hear it a little bit deeper, even that second time around.
Like, sharing with people how good I feel, and being in this small town and people coming up to me and going, what happened to you? And it's like, hey, this is a great opening. But what I do say and what I feel really good about is I want to make you feel as good as I feel. And I love getting a check every week. And I want to see my friends uplift their own financial health.
Yay. Speaking from your values. Exactly, and your experience. I loved what Sonia Magruder said last night is people really lean into stories, and I was just leaning into both of your stories so much. And it's nice to learn each other's stories and learn from each other and hear each other's values. That's a really important part of this and part of being in community. So bringing back this lost art of storytelling is not only amazing in our business, but it's amazing for our personal development and our community development, because that can be a lost art. So thank you guys for sharing your stories, and let's keep practicing these. And I really want to encourage us, like Camille was sharing at the beginning of the call, to each connect in with each other here and see if we can interview each other about our stories, about our health story, about our business story, and why we're doing this. You know, what solutions is it solving for you, and what's your larger why of where you're headed? So, yay, I want to pass it off because I know we have some amazing guests here. So, Christina, I'll pass it back to you.
Thank
Uh,
you, Rita.
yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
so good, so good. And I was just sharing in one of the breakout rooms. If you catch this replay, you'll hear it there too. But I just want to say to everyone here, if you're looking for what else can I add to my story, or what tips, the one that I always encourage is paint that picture at the end of your why. Paint that picture for people of the future that you're projecting for yourself and how you feel about it. That hope, like I'm so hopeful now that I can actually do this thing that I've always wanted. I had given up on my dream, and now I'm so re-inspired that this is actually happening and I see the way through, right? Because sales is all belief. It's a transference of belief. And the more you believe in what you're actually creating, it doesn't matter if you've not made a single penny in Purium. If you believe in what you're creating here and others see that, they're like, whoa, she really believes in what she's creating. That's contagious. That's magnetic. That's the transmission. And that's why stories are so powerful. More than any facts you can say, even though Purium has all the amazing facts, those are not nearly as transmissive as the belief and the embodied feelings that we have about our own story and our own why. So always make sure at the end you're painting that picture. You're like, come, let me bring you into the landscape of my why. So that's my tip for that. And if you're newer or you've never really packaged your story, I also encourage you to make an appointment with your upline to do that, because our story can also contain a lot of baggage, and it's great to like get to where you're like carving out a lot of that excess. I call it story detox to where it's just that concise sliver that's gonna like pierce right into their heart. So that's all I have to say about stories. Always great one to review and refresh our stories, add the new ways that Purium is enhancing our life. And without further ado, I want to introduce our special guest that we have on the call today. My heart is so warm to welcome Roxanne Ruby. She is everyone here's upline. She's like our fairy godmother, grandmother in the lineage. And this woman is so incredible poise, incredible elegance, incredible articulation of the heart of the company, the mission, the science. Really intelligent woman here who has taken a pause from her business to have a baby and start a family, which is so exciting to me because now she's returning in full force with whole new upgraded, maturity and like the mother rite of passage, and is, the embodiment of like everything we stand for in the Million Mom movement, and just that whole message of nourishing on all the levels, the bodies and financially. And so I love you so much, Roxy. I'm so happy you're here. And share with us a little bit about what you're inspired to bring forth to the team in the upcoming months. And yeah, just anything you feel called to share.
Thank you so much. much, Christina. And thank you also, Rita. It's really so inspiring to see your leadership and the languaging that you're using, and just the essence of this crew feels completely resonant with what I am personally wanting to step back into my business with. This very heart-centered and equally professional approach to the work that we're doing. I've always been very mission driven when it comes to this business. I got into it without understanding whatsoever the opportunity that was present. Very much it was for my own transformation and for feeling a deep sense of personal alignment. Meeting Dave Sandoval, that's how I joined the company, was I met him at an event I was producing in LA, and felt like when he spoke, he was speaking directly to my heart and my passion with really making significant change on the planet through the way that people consume, and being able to change the way that people can consume as a way to shift consciousness, to shift the personal experience as well as the collective experience, and really make an impact with individual transformation and the impact that we're having on environment. And so I've always been very mission driven when it comes to this business. And through the years have not only had a really hugely significant personal health transformation, which, just to summarize for those of you that don't know me, started with being told I had PCOS and that I might not ever be able to have a baby. And fast forward to now, 10 years later, having just given birth to my first son and using Purium every day throughout my pregnancy and postpartum. And it's helped me to have a really beautiful experience. And the business has been, I mean, it's been my main source of income for almost a decade now. And having taken the past couple years off really to focus on some other more creative aspects of my life, and also my relationship and creating a family, as Christina mentioned, I'm still getting those weekly checks, and it's been able to support myself and my family. And I'm actually feeling more inspired than ever now to be an official part of the Million Mom movement, joining the circle of mothers here, and feeling like through my journey with Purium, it was a very different company. You know, the heart was the same, the mission was the same, the power shake was the same, but the branding, the business model, everything was so different when I got on board. And it's really been through the feedback of the field, working with corporate to shape it into what it is today, which is one other thing that I really appreciate about this company, is that Dave and Amy have really listened to us. And it's people like Rachel and Christina and other leaders within our organization that have shaped Purium to be what it is today. And so through that co-shaping, I like to say, like, I've been raised by Purium. Like, I joined this company when I was 20 years old, and it has shaped me in so many ways. And I feel grateful to have had a voice, especially at such a young age, where my passion was able to be implemented and shaped into something that has changed thousands of lives, hundreds of thousands of lives at this point. And now stepping back in, I really kind of tiptoed in after giving birth, and knowing that this inspiration started to bubble up within me of my mission being stronger than ever. Not only for the big mission of being able to pass on a healthy world to my son and his children, but also the personal mission of wanting to be able to continue to provide for my family, and seeing the power of residual income, and now feeling inclined to leverage that even more, and for myself and for others. I don't know who the gentleman was, I missed your name, speaking a little before me, but I loved this idea of, like, I want you to have what I've had. And so whether it's with health or also with finances, that speaks directly to me. Like, I can think of so many people that would benefit from the freedom that I have gained through having this platform supporting me so steadfast over all these years. And so I'm feeling really stoked to jump back in and feeling like I've learned a lot, and also like I'm ready to approach it a little bit differently than I have before. In the sense that I really want to take everything that I've learned and be crystal clear with how I implement those lessons. And for me, how I like to create is getting really clear with the feeling. That is the feeling that I want to create when I'm working with my team, when I'm working on my IPAs, when I'm out in the field prospecting and bringing on new customers and new brand partners. How do I want to feel? And I just hopped on this Zoom, and like within the first 30 seconds, I was like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I want to feel. And so I just want to acknowledge that, which is already being cultivated here. And just say thank you to all of you for showing up in this way. And that the piece that I'm excited to bring to the table now, and Christine and I have been talking, and we're going to get a little bit more clear in the coming days with the leadership here to understand exactly the details of this. And the invitation I'm bringing to all of you now is to join us for what has been a huge part of shaping my business over the past decade, which is a 90-day run. It's a 3-month commitment to consistency, to setting goals, and to day after day, really taking those small and large steps towards reaching our small and large goals, and breaking everything down into bite-sized pieces to be able to, whatever your goal may be, whether it's to pay for your car payment or to create a career income here, full spectrum support to be able to hold each other as capable in achieving those goals. And so we're going to roll out a 3-month run that will be September, October, and November. It will be an opportunity to be in a committed container with each other, where we are showing up for the journey of 3 months. And for those of you, can you actually just, if you have done a 3-month run before, drop a 1 in the chat. If you haven't done it before, drop a 2. Just curious to know if this languaging is new for some people. It seems like there's a lot of ones that have done a 3-month run. And like anything, like I'm a creator, I'm an event producer, I'm an artist, I make music, I do a lot of different things outside of my career with Purium. And like with anything, pregnancy even, the journey of creation is not like this line, right? Like we've all seen the meme where it's like, it's not like here to here, it's not A to B, it's more like here to this whole squiggly journey of all kinds of lessons and experiences along the way that eventually lead us to our destination. And so the idea with a 3-month run is to that journey and to see the compound results of being steadily fast committed to something. And so over the next 3 months, we're going to go on this journey together. We will open up in the first week of September, and we'll make a being able to see how, especially in this business, the seeds that we plant in the first week, some of them might blossom the day that we plant them. Some of them might blossom 3 months later. And that's really the power of making a commitment of time, where you're practicing that consistency and seeing the results that, again, are compounding. And so with the nature of this work being centered around organic agriculture, I do like to use this metaphor of gardening. And the first month is going to be a lot of just tending to the soil, really getting to know and we have putting an emphasis onto breaking everything down, whether it's our presence on social media, our why, our story, our product awareness, different live events and things that we'll be doing as a collective over those 3 months, It'll really be that each Zoom one to the next builds on itself, and that those that are present and along for the journey will see the investment that they make of their energy and their time in their business reflected in their business. So I'm really excited for myself, because like I need this, like especially as an artist, like it's important to have a container that I commit to and show up to, that I have buddies to hold me capable and accountable. And we're gonna have some amazing leadership on, and lots of great information and inspiration coming through. And it's a new dynamic. I've done a lot with the different leader combinations in my past years with Purium, and we have some leaders that are at the table now. And so I think this is going to be kind of like a Purium business master class. It really enjoyable along the journey. So I think that's a share. Christina, if you have anything else or any questions, I'd be open to jam with you a bit.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Drop a 10 in the comments if you're excited about the idea of this structure coming together, of this container, of being in it together, of holding each other accountable week to week, and not getting to that place where you're like, oh, a couple weeks has gone by and I'm not even really sure where to sink some roots, you know? And with this whole leadership collective, you're going to hear different voices, and you're going to hear different flavors, and different things are going to activate different things for different people. So yay, we're seeing a lot of excitement in the chat. And do any of the leaders have any questions for Roxanne? Otherwise, everything is going to be coming out crystal clear shortly. We just want to give you a heads up so you can start thinking about it, and actually just start feeling it, really. Just allow yourself to feel that activation, and know that if you're somebody who really thrives on that direct, clear instructions, as well as like the heart opening feeling of being in community, like you've got it all right here. So I'm super excited personally. And even the action steps to apply to get into the container will be exactly what you want to be doing anyway to activate. So we'll be doing those steps this month to get started in September, and they will even help your business this month. So yeah, Rita's already feeling the activation. I feel it too. And I'm just, yeah, so excited for this like reunion. So thank you so much for being here, Roxy, and for that share. And I'm going to pass it over to Rachel. We're going to get into action here. And really like take all the feelings you're having right now, everything you've gotten from this call, and let's start to share it, right, in social media and one-on-one with our lists. So Rachel is an amazing leader that we've been co-creating for years now, and I'm sure you all know her, but I'm just loving your heart and your energy, Rachel. So thanks for guiding us through the action party portion.
Thank you. I love when we come together once a month on these crown-led prospecting Zooms. And I think it's important to feel each other's energy and to see new people and feel the new energy. And I really want to encourage all of you to make sure that your team sees this replay, okay? So that they get the inoculation of what we're presenting for September, October, and November, because this is really, really juicy. And it's such a pleasure to be able to get to work with Roxy again. I mean, she is just so genius. I mean, Roxy has been like my inspiration since the beginning, even before Purium. She was my fire dancing inspiration. So we lived in Kauai at the same time. So, you know, right now I want to like, just like make sure that we're getting the duplication of using the Purium official boards for our prospecting hour. I think it's so useful to do this. So I just want to remind people where it is in case you want to follow along, or if you just want to know where it is so you can do your own thing. I really want to emphasize that to do these more than once a week. Okay. It behooves you, I should say, to get everyone from your team on this call, on your weekly Zooms. Christy and I do them separately, but at the same time, at this time, and make sure that you are having 90 minutes regularly throughout the week. Okay. Like it would be great to do it once a day. Like if you were owning a business and you were like, I'm going to pour everything I have into this business. I'm going to do 90 minutes a day. The amount of income you can get out of that level of commitment is ridiculous. You know, when we were doing our business stories, I was like, oh, I have a new story, which is that my crown income has enabled me to go off and go to school. Like I've been in Carrie Drinkwine's Institute of Regenerative Health, and I'm now in that. And it's like, I don't work very many hours, but if I'm doing 90 minutes every day, like that's less than anyone puts into an income like that, right? But but in the beginning, when you're putting all that time in, if you can do 90 minutes, I mean, what we recommend is 90 minutes 5 times a week. Just ask yourself, are you doing 90 minutes 5 times a week? Who is? Is anybody doing 90 minutes 5 times a week? Where you're prospecting and following up and you're doing this every single day, 5 times a week? Yeah, not many people are. So if you're wondering where are my results, ask yourself, well, how many hours am I putting into this business? Right? How many hours would I put into a business where I'm making $500 a week? How many hours would I be putting into a business making $500 a month? So just ask yourself that and ask yourself, am I putting that much into Purium? And then make it yourself accountable by making sure you're on this call and prioritizing the income producing activity, which is this, and also doing this on your own by either following the replay of this video and listening along and following the prompts, or following or doing it on your own by just going to the Purium Official Boards app. So in the Purium Official Boards app, if you open up that app, the Boards app, you're going to see scripts. So you're going to click on scripts, and then you're going to scroll to the bottom. On the bottom left corner, it says team coaching. Click on team coaching. On the bottom left corner, it says power hour. Click on power hour. And this is the format that we basically follow. And we have only another 50 minutes, 30, 40 minutes together. So I'm not going to do all of these things. We were talking about doing reels? Was that in our little list? We're going to do sharing our stories. No, we did that in the breakout room. Okay, never mind. So I always love doing the 5 minutes of gratitude and actually spending 5 minutes writing down my gratitudes. But for time's sake today, instead, let's just do 5 minutes of sending out gratitudes. Okay, so I'm going to set the timer and let's send out gratitudes to 5 different people. Okay, and the idea is you're starting new relationships, you're cultivating old relationships, and it's just putting you in the field of that person and giving yourself an opportunity to feel that gratitude, because gratitude is what attracts abundance. Gratitude is literally the thing that raises our vibration, makes our mind feel good, makes our hearts feel good, and gives us a sense of excitement about what we're doing so that we don't get burnt out, right? Because if you want to stay without burnout, then you have to love what you're doing. And to love what you're doing, you have to be grateful for what you're doing, right? So think about the things you're grateful for and the people you're grateful for. And I'm setting the timer for 5 minutes. That was 5 minutes. Hope you had some nice gratitude and that you're feeling good now, even if you were before already. So next is warm up your algorithm. Spend 5 to 10 minutes sending out birthday messages or adding new friends. If no birthdays, you can choose. On Instagram, you could just be adding people. On Facebook, you can be looking at people's birthdays. And so there's a way to see the birthdays on Facebook. I always forget what it is. I think you go into here, let me see. If someone knows, jump off, because I always forget how it's like.
Events.
You
You
just
do
go
a
to the
search.
search and hit birthdays.
That's right.
Yeah,
Do
or
a search for
search.
birthdays. Just go to the search bar and click and write in birthdays, and then it says upcoming birthdays. And so this is a great way to make connections with new people you may not have even been in connection with. And don't just say happy birthday. I highly recommend say something meaningful that they will remember, that they will want to respond to, that they will be grateful for, that's going to feel good. Okay. So we'll do 5 minutes. Was I talking? Would you guys hear me? It was muted on my side. Okay, good. By the way, a little tip on the birthday wishes is I actually am very particular about who I don't if somebody doesn't have a picture and they don't seem like they're very active on Facebook, I probably will just say happy birthday and move on. But I do look for people who have an account. I'll like click on their account and look at their page a little bit to see, if this is someone I want to connect with. So you can do that too if you want to be more specific. Any successes? Did you guys make some new connections? If that, yes, or I thought you were going to say something, Amelia. So you can continue on chat trajectory if you feel like you're on a roll. You can continue with any of these. If you feel like any of these really hit home and you want to continue on that roll, continue. And if you're like, I want to do something different now, then here we go. So let's see, what time is it? 3:06. We got 25 minutes. Let's spend let's spend 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes, either writing down a list of people that you want to connect with and tell them about the products or the business, or send out 10 to 15, or send out messages for the next 10, 15 minutes. Try to get to 10 people that you actually send a message to, initiating conversation or comment. Maybe like you can do this with the birthdays, because it suggests new people who are having something interesting going on right now. But you can also continue with that if you want, and just start conversations. Look in people's posts and comment, make a little conversation in the comments. So you can either write for the next 10, actually we'll do 15 minutes. Let's do 15 minutes. We're gonna do 15 minutes, and you're either gonna write down a list for 15 minutes straight of all the people that you want to prospect for the business or the products. Or you can spend that next 15 minutes literally just reaching out to people for that whole time and trying to get to at least 10 people. Or you can follow up for the next 15 minutes. Just follow up, which means anyone you've already talked to about either products or business, and just sending follow-up messages only. So I say this because it's important to stay in your lane. If you keep going all around and switching tasks, it's not as productive. You'll be way more productive if you stay on one task. So you could like send out voice messages, you could send out text messages, you could call people, whatever feels right now. Here we go. Way to go. It's 3:24. There's 6 minutes left. How y'all doing? You guys good? Are you being productive? Yay, Neuron Car is being productive. Awesome. Good. Since there's only 6 minutes left, shall we just continue on what we're doing? We're not going to change route now that we focused. Okay, good. I'm going to tell you that I did a search for Hashimoto's. I found this woman who has a following of 111 people, 111,000 people. She's like, she calls herself Dr. Hashimoto's girl or something like that. And I am commenting on her post. I'm sending her a message. I'm asking her if she can chat for 5 minutes. I'm asking her if I can interview her just to start the conversation. Okay. So how can I bring her value by talking to me on my page? Check out all these diehards. We didn't even notice we went over, but here we are.
Thank you. I got a bunch done. Appreciate it. Very
Thanks for
motivational.
joining.
You're welcome.
Good. I'm glad you got stuff done. Woohoo. Go team.
I'm going to get some outside time now.
Sounds good.